Hi and welcome to the Well of Inspiration. If you're new to our channel here on the Cradle of Life, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share and like this video with people who you think it may actually resonate with. Now, the Well of Inspiration and the Cradle of Life have a history together. We've been working behind the scenes for a very long time, from 2021, and putting things together so Wellington and the Cradle of Life can give you content of substance to inspire you, to motivate you wherever you may be on the continent in Africa and beyond. Again, for another episode, Wellington joins me. Hi, Wellington.
Hi, Don. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm doing very well. I am not complaining at all.
Fantastic stuff. Wellington, for the viewers who are watching today, what do we have in store for them on the Well of Inspiration in this episode?
You know what? Today, I want us to look at the subject of selling yourself. Selling yourself. You know, the sales profession is one of the oldest professions, and it is also one of the most rewarding professions. And when you think about it, usually when it comes to selling, we are thinking of selling products and services, and when you get closer to it, the determining factor is usually the price of the product, the person who's selling it, and sometimes the quality of the product does come into play as well. It's all about selling. But you know, when you talk about ideas and products and services, you also want to remember that as individuals, we get into situations where we are tasked with the responsibility to sell ourselves. In other words, we have the chance to present our ideas to another person in a particular context and convince the other person to see things the way we see them, or to sell our ideas that will then add value to whatever that person may be working on. It's all about selling our ideas, selling ourselves as individuals, and pushing ourselves out there as people who are value-driven, people who give value, and who are able to continue to develop and progress with those that are around us while pushing ourselves ahead of the pack by selling ourselves. So that's what I want us to talk about today, Dawn. It's all about selling ourselves.
Fantastic. And I think a lot of people out there are struggling with being able to sell themselves. A lot of people have great ideas. They have ideas for products. They have ideas for services. I think a lot of people are just held back by not being able to sell themselves. And I think this is a great subject for whoever may be watching that needs to learn to sell themselves or needs to look into how they can sell themselves.
You know what? We all are in this business of selling ourselves. We sell ourselves every day to our employers. When you go for an interview, you are selling yourself. When you approach somebody to try and strike up a new relationship, you are selling yourself. When you try to push an idea towards your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your partner, you are selling yourself. When your children come to you requesting things and presenting themselves in a particular way, they are selling themselves. So let us open our eyes to a broader context of selling ourselves and then explore how we can utilize this ability to sell ourselves to allow our goals and our dreams to move to the next level, and as we make progress towards that which we need to achieve. So many things are hinging on us achieving our goals, and so many things are dependent on our ability to sell ourselves to the next person, to the next organization, to the next encounter you have in any situation. Now, I think let's just dive straight into it and consider one of the things that I think is very critical when it comes to selling ourselves. You see, as the world has evolved and we're now living in this digital world where we communicate virtually with people, the pandemic has not done us any favors in that respect. But there's still an element which I want us to remember. This is the element of personal touch. It doesn't matter what you are bringing to the table. You want to understand that the person you are dealing with is a human being before they are your prospect. They are a human being before they are your employer. They are a human being before they come into a relationship with you, into an encounter with you. That is why we need to recognize the power and the importance of personal touch. Yes, it's nice to connect virtually. Yes, it is nice to engage with people as a group or as a number of people. But remember that the person that you make the greatest impact on is that person that you have that one on one connection with. This can be done virtually as well, by the way. We can engage, but as long as we're speaking to each other one on one, eyeball to eyeball, and really understanding and conveying a message to each other, we are then in a better position to really bring about that personal touch. Remember people's names, shaking hands. Now with the pandemic, it has kind of fallen away. But shaking hands, that engagement at that level is coming back slowly. And I can see that as people engage, they really want to bring back that personal touch. And I think there's still room and scope for us to do well through the personal touch, especially as we try to sell ourselves.
Wellington, I agree with you. And I think, as human beings, we thrive. We really thrive on personal touch, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with an employer or an employee, you thrive on that human touch. And I think with the pandemic, we've actually seen what this lack of human touch does actually do to people, what it's actually done to people. People have been depressed, people have gone through different things. And like you're saying, it's slowly coming back. And I think people will grow better with that personal touch.
Absolutely. Our communication has suffered greatly in this respect. The good old eye contact no longer exists because we are becoming keyboard kings. We can simply type it away on the keyboard and convey whatever message you want to convey. I've seen offices and sometimes where people are sitting right next to each other, but they're sending each other emails instead of communicating with each other verbally, physically, as they are in the same space. We need to re-harness this power of personal touch because as we engage personally, especially if your initiative is to really put yourself out there, get yourself recognized, you want to be able to engage with people on a one-on-one, on a personal-to-personal level and benefit from this personal touch.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
In fact, when we talk personal touch, I'm a firm believer in the good old bear hug, okay? Whenever you see someone that you know, that you love, that you care about, the way you connect with them through a hug and a handshake and speaking to them one-on-one is so much better than when you say hi through the keyboard. I believe in this, and I really think this is what we need to remember as we engage in selling ourselves.
I like the way you talk about, that bear hug. I think a lot of us have lost those little elements that make that human touch and that, that connection so much stronger. And once we regain it, I think we'll be able to thrive even better, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally. It really does make a huge difference and an impact to each and every individual.
Absolutely. And one thing that we can also remember is this whole aspect of enthusiasm. When you are dealing with someone who you are engaging with on a personal level, you want to demonstrate enthusiasm if you are ever going to sell yourself to the next person. So we have to remember this, that as you position yourself in front of another human being, you want to be able to demonstrate enthusiasm. You don't want to go there looking bored or boring, looking uninterested. You want to show that whatever you're doing, you're committed to it, your heart is in it, you are really willing to engage with the next person, you want to understand their perspective, you are committed to hearing what they have to say and to engage with them at that level. So building enthusiasm kind of draws people closer to you, draws people to understand what you have to offer, to listen in to the conversations you're having, to want to know more about that which you bring to the table.
I think gratitude as well, Wellington. I think it plays a big role in us being enthusiastic. When you're grateful for things, you're able to be more enthusiastic.
Absolutely. When you're grateful, you are excited about the things that are happening in your life. You are excited about whatever it is that you've got going on. And I think when you're communicating something important and you're coming from a point of view of gratitude and enthusiasm, you recognize that the pitch of your voice is different. Your body language is different. The words you use, the tonality of your voice is so different that you can engage with someone on a different level. I attended at one point an annual general meeting where there was this big CEO who was presenting the financial performance of a company for the past year. This gentleman was presenting a company which was profitable, had done well in the year, and was well positioned in the marketplace. But he was speaking with such a low and boring voice and an uninterested kind of tone that people were wondering whether he was really the one CEO who led the company to the success they had had in that particular year. Why? Because he was lacking enthusiasm. Be excited about whatever it is you're bringing to the table and communicate it with enthusiasm.
Fantastic stuff right here on The Well of Inspiration. It's all about selling yourself, as Wellington talks to us this week on this episode. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Well of Inspiration. This week on the show, we're talking about selling yourself. And as Wellington has mentioned, sales is one of the oldest professions, and it's actually one of the most rewarding professions. Now, he said we all have to sell ourselves in some way or another, whether it's for an interview, whether, it's to our own people, to a loved one, in a relationship, to get into a relationship. Your children also sell themselves to you with their ideas. And I think sometimes we find it difficult to actually put our ideas and our services and our products that we might have in our minds and sell ourselves the right way. Now, Wellington is going on to tell us that there are different ways to go about this. He says the one thing that you need is personal touch, having that personal touch. We do know that the humans, we thrive on personal touch. We thrive on having a connection with other people, engaging with them, a handshake, a hug, different aspects that actually come into play that allow us to have that personal touch. It's very important in all aspects of our lives, and it is important when we go into selling ourselves as well. People want to connect with you. They want to feel your vibrations. They want to understand you. And these little things actually play a big role when you're trying to sell yourself. He's also talked about enthusiasm, being enthusiastic about selling yourself, about whatever it is that you're pushing forward. Be excited about it. Push for it. Be grateful. Have that energy that, can actually rub off on people, and that energy that shows you are interested in what you are doing. Wellington, what else can we actually put into place?
Thank you for that wonderful summary. One other thing that we have to remember, and this is one that is very strategic. If you are ever going to sell yourself, you want to be able to demonstrate a good level of competence. You might be the most charismatic person out there, coming with enthusiasm, connecting with people on an individual level, doing really well in that respect. But when it comes to really, when the rubber meets the road and you're now dealing with aspects of technical skill and ability, you want to be able to demonstrate competence. And that is why I say, for you to be able to sell yourself, develop your skill set first. Work on yourself. Build your ability to deliver value to the next person. Then when you're able to do that, you can speak to them with confidence, with enthusiasm, with using all the charisma you can get, but also you are able to deliver real value, tangible value, because you are a competent individual. Build your skills, work on yourself, develop yourself, and build that ability to add value to another person.
I like this, Wellington. And I think, this all goes down to learning different things, learning whatever you might not know in your industry and, putting that into practice, applying different strategies that will actually allow you to be able to deliver better to whatever it is that you are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. That ability to build your attributes, your skills, whatever things that are necessary, it doesn't mean that you have to know everything, But it simply means that when you engage in conversation, you can't be lost when some technical jargon is thrown on the table because you are not skilled and qualified enough. You want to be able to engage in the conversation and take it all the way through until you are able to add value or to also receive value from the other person because you are a competent individual. Now, the next important thing is that of being a genuine person who represents yourself and you are not a copycat of another human being. Be genuine, be yourself. You cannot come to a situation and try to speak like someone that you are not. You cannot go into a room and try to engage as if you're somebody that you are not. Being genuine presents you as a person of integrity. And you know, when you're genuine, the room, the people that you engage with, they feel it. They engage with you with that understanding because they can feel the energy coming from you, that it's a genuine energy, it's an honest energy, and it's somebody who is really committed to whatever it is that they're doing. So be genuine. Go into a place as a real, genuine individual. Don't try to fake it, because sometimes when you fake it, you can be found out. And when you're found out, your integrity is thrown out the window, and then bouncing back from that is going to take a whole lot of effort. Be genuine. Be yourself.
Wellington, I like this because I think a lot of us, especially in the internet age, we're so exposed to so many things where you see, okay, this person is doing good in this field and, maybe I should imitate this person, maybe I should be that. But I think authenticity is something that is so relatable as humans to each other. If you can be authentically yourself and be able to hone your skills, know them and be able to deliver them, I think that is the best possible thing that you can do for yourself. Because like you say, the second people find out you're phony, that's it, it's done. And recovering, trying to get that name back, to what it's supposed to be will take you years, if ever.
It will take you a lot more time. And you are shortchanging yourself, because when you come in as you, as who you are, there's a style of presentation that you bring. There's a style of communication that you bring. There's a level of engagement that only you can bring because you are who you are. That cannot be sold to anybody else. Only you can bring that to the table. Your dress sense, your character, your personality, your unique smile, your unique eye contact. It is all about you. If you try to do something that you are not doing yourself a service, because then you get left out the door and a different person walks into the door and they cannot do the same job that you could have done yourself. So let's be genuine, let's be ourselves, and straight honesty, straight authenticity will always carry the day.
Wellington, I like this. And I think a lot of us tend to, instead of learning new things, sometimes I think we're scared to tell somebody, listen, I've been doing this job, but there are certain things that we miss. We are scared of learning more. And I think that's what takes a lot of people out of their own character and places them in somebody else's character, because they're trying to fit in without actually having the pieces of the puzzle that allow them to fit into where they need to fit into. So I think personally, learning more and asking people questions about different things so you can learn more about your field, going into books, going into the internet, going online, researching about those different things, they actually contribute to you having more positivity and more confidence to be able to actually be yourself and deliver when it comes to competence, and when it also comes to you being genuinely who you are.
Absolutely. So look, when you bring yourself to a room, people will like you for who you are, not for being somebody else. Even if the other person you're trying to pretend to be may be more charismatic or more better known or whatever, you want to be able to present yourself and allow people to take you as you are. That is real power that you bring to the table, and you don't have the burden of continuing to try to figure out how to continue imitating somebody else, because then you can just go on and be yourself. So easy. Okay, now as a final word, as I said, selling yourself or the sales profession is a profession that is so profound, a profession that has made a huge difference to commerce and industry. And this profession is a profession that we can also embrace as individuals as we seek to present ourselves and our ideas to the people we interact with every single day, from our families to our professions to our business and to the engagements we have with our customers. My friends, I want to leave you with this word today. Be authentic, be genuine, approach whatever subject, whatever context with enthusiasm, and remember that you are who you are and nobody can replace you, and neither should you try to replace anybody else. Allow yourself to bring who you really are to any particular situation and sell yourself with confidence. You, my friend, will recognize that once you get in there with who you are, the rest will be history.
Wellington, fantastic words. I love the way you've put out this episode. I think there's a lot of people who can actually learn from this and can actually gain that confidence by, doing the necessary things that allow them to be able to sell themselves in the right way possible, whatever field or background they may actually have.
I hope today you've enjoyed this episode as we have learned a bit about selling ourselves. Remember, your message can only be presented by you. Your personality can only be presented by you, and your ideas can only be presented by you. Allow yourself to come into every space with confidence, and remember, you have the responsibility to learn how to sell yourself to the next person. It's been a pleasure having you today. Don, thank you so much for your time. I hope we catch up again next week.
Wellington, thank you so much as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board with us right here. For those who have been watching, please don't forget to reach out in any way you may think you need to reach out to Wellington, to us right here at the Cradle of Life. Wellington, until next week, asante sana.
Thank you so much, Don. We'll catch up next week.